Hey guys, how you doing? jpsarrireviews here. Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex 2045 is the third season of Standalone Complex. It has been 14 years since the last film in this series, Solid State Society, came out. So of course it's been long, and we have a couple of things in between, but nothing in the Standalone Complex universe. Is part of the entire universe of Ghost in the Shell, but nothing linked to this series. So as soon as it was announced, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was intrigued. Of course, I had my concerns because of the animation, but I was intrigued. So in the next couple of minutes, after I watch it already in English and also watch it in the original Japanese language, I want to break it down for you, the good and the bad, what I like, what I don't like, and ultimately let you know if I think this is a worthy addition to the, I would say, Standalone Complex series or not. So in the next couple of minutes, stay tuned. The good. The first thing that I'm going to point out that I like is the fact that if you're watching this on the English dub, you're going to have the same voiceovers, the same actors, the same people that have been part of this since the beginning, since actually the original Standalone Complex, even since the original film. The people are back and they're doing the same voiceovers, and to me it's like going back home. I feel comfortable listening to their voices. Matter of fact, you don't even have to watch it. You can just listen to them, and the story plays along so well. So I'm glad that they're back. It feels that it's right. It is right to me just to have these actors, the same moves, the same attitudes, all of that is reflected there. I love the English dub for some reason. Even when you watch it in the translation, I normally like to watch it in the English translation and pretty much on the lettering, but also like to watch and listen to the English version. It changes completely from the Japanese version. They accommodate that in order to make it sound more American, if you can call it like that, or more for English speakers. And I really like actually the way they did it, because they changed some of the things, but they're not changing the idea. They're just adjusting. And to me, that's great. So that's the first thing that I'm going to say is great about this series. The second thing that I'm going to point out that I know a lot of people are going to find very divisive is the animation. Yes, I'm a fan of 3D animation. I've been watching this since, in this case, Ghost in the Shell since the beginning, since it came out in the 90s. And I really love the series. Of course, when you think about Ghost in the Shell, you have to think of a very iconic film. In this case, Ghost in the Shell and Akira, and I would say even Cowboy Bebop, they were actually the introduction for many to animation here in the West. They were very different, very mature in their content, but to me they were terrific. And of course, when you have to compare this with the originals, you're always going to have a hard time. You want to make the comparison, but you have to remember this is not necessarily based on the film. This is based on the Standalone Complex series, which is also very different to the original. And I like it because it's the same director. You have a lot of people, a couple of directors, but you have a lot of people that are involved in the beginning, even the same soundtrack, the same music. So it does have the same feel. But the animation, to me, I really like it. Of course, I have my reservations, and it has some moments where it's slow. I'm not going to deny you. There are moments that it's not as good. But there are moments, particularly in action scenes, where it is fluid and it feels well. Major Motoko Kusanagi looks different. Of course, he looks younger, more like a little girl, but I don't have a problem with it. So if you like 3D animation, you're going to like it the same as I do. But what is to have a, animation, or even if we have the classic animation, if you don't have a great story? And this is the part what separates this from, I would say, many other shows. This is classic Ghost in the Shell. Now, it has the same people involved, the same director again, the same writers, the same people that were involved in the original. So it does have a great story, and it plays the same way as the Standalone Complex original and Second Gig played. It follows the same storyline. But also, what I really love about Ghost in the Shell, even the original Ghost in the Shell, is the fact that it is not afraid to have a social and political commentary. This series does have it in truckloads. There's a lot of criticism towards the current state of the government, the current state of society, the pursuit of war as a means of a business, but also the social commentary about the state of mind, our lives, who we are as people. Also euthanasia and so many other areas and aspects of, definitely that are challenged as a society today. So as usual with any Ghost in the Shell, they're not afraid to steer away from it. And I think that's one of the reasons why people love Ghost in the Shell so much, because, it really has that. It has that political commentary, social commentary that is very thoughtful, very philosophical, and the story is great. It starts kind of slow, but it starts moving in like every other Ghost in the Shell. It starts kind of slow, but then it starts building towards that momentum. And I feel that this is one of the biggest aspects of this series that I feel comfortable with. The other thing that I really like about this is the soundtrack. I know a lot of people are complaining about the soundtrack because they're trying to compare this to the soundtrack of the original film. It's not going to work out. It's totally different. This is in the same vein of Standalone Complex, the original series, and of course Second Gig. So it kind of continues the same thing. But I like it. The intro song, I wasn't a fan at first, but then I said, you know what? It's kind of catchy. I kind of like it after a while. But the best song to me is the outro song. It's a song created by a group called Millie. Love this song, and I will have the link for you for those who want to listen. You need to listen to the whole thing. Really love that outro song. I was just, I didn't want to just pass the credits. I just wanted to listen to it because it's a very good song. But even in the whole series, the songs that are played, the soundtrack is good. The score is good. Particularly in moments of action or moments of, tense moments, I feel that it was playing so well. So yeah, I would say I'm a fan of it. The bad. Now it's time to talk about the bad. Yes, there is bad in this series as well. And we are going to point out the animation as well. Yes, the animation has its moments, great moments, but I really like it. You get familiar. At first starts kind of slow. And it kind of, it's uncomfortable at first because you feel like, man, the movement is not that great. And then it picks up. But there's still moments where you feel the animation is intrusive. Yeah, if you have your mind set into what you remember, you're always going to have a hard time with this. And I see that this is the problem with most people. I've seen even big YouTubers criticizing this series based on the animation only. And some people say, I watched for one episode, 2 episodes, and then I gave up because I couldn't stand the animation. If you concentrate yourself on the animation, you're going to have a hard time. Yes, that's, I think, the biggest flaw in the series. It's a total change from what the previous were, but at the same time, I understand where they're trying to go. Production IG is trying to go into totally something different. They want to change the way the perception of, in this case, of the anime. I feel that it's something that is across the board, and it's had nothing to do with Netflix. It's the way the Japanese animation is moving forward, and you're going to see a lot of 3D animation nowadays. And I have no problem with that. But yes, if you see that as a flaw, definitely this is going to be the biggest point of contention. Another point of contention would be the pacing. Now, this is based on the Standalone Complex. And if you're familiar with the original series and also familiar with most series in anime, there's a lot of story arcs in this series. It's not one single story arc. There are a couple of story arcs. They all play into the big picture. But there are a couple of moments, even some single issues like this one with Bato, where he actually goes into a bank. He's involved into some type of bank robbery, which is actually a very good episode, very funny episode. So there are a couple of things. So if you don't like that kind of thing where things are kind of deviate and then go back to the big, to the main plot, then you're going to have a hard time, and this is part of it. It's always been in most animes. It always works that way. But yeah, if you're more accustomed to something, like a singular story, you're more into one film more than a series, then you're going to have a hard time with this because it starts slow. To be honest with you, it starts kind of slow, then it starts building momentum, then it goes slow again, then builds momentum, then goes slow till the end. So yeah, there are moments where you feel like, man, it's a lot of commentary, a lot of conversation, but not enough action. So you're going to have that. But you have to keep in mind, this is based on Ghost in the Shell, and it works like that. This was devised as 2 different seasons. And of course, this first season is pretty much the entry to the last season, which is going to be the great finale. So yeah, that's the part where a lot of people are going to feel conflicted with and disappointed. In conclusion, well, I'm telling you this, I really enjoyed the show. Yes, I know a lot of people are hating it. I know a lot of people are going to criticize it. But if you give it a chance, it's going to build on you. Yes, the end is left in a cliffhanger in this season. But of course, it prepares you to the second season. But I really like where they're going. To me, it still Ghost in the Shell. Standalone Complex has the same vibe, the same feel, the same fire, the same passion that it always has, the same voiceovers, everything is the same. The only difference would be the animation. Now, the animation, it takes a little bit of time to get used to it. You're gonna have a hard time at first if you're so accustomed to the original animation. But once you bypass that, you're going to have fun with it, and you're going to realize that the story is the same story as always been. It's the same critical point of views. It does have a more social commentary, even more political commentary than previous seasons. So I like it. I really like it. It does follow the same trend. It's the same directors, the same people, the same involvement. So why people are saying that against this, to me, is just the 3D animation. They're just choosing one single thing. They're picking on one thing instead of just actually embracing or being more open to the new. And to me, that's a problem right there. Now, if I have to give this season a final score, I would say for me, it's an 8 out of 10 because I enjoyed it. I like it. Yes, it's not perfect at all. And at the end of the day, I'm not going to compare this to the original film. Because that's in a different ballpark. That's in a different game. And I would say it is a worthy addition, a worthy continuation of Standalone Complex. I would say Standalone Complex was better, and Second Gig was a continuation of that. I think this is coming in third. That's the third season. I don't know if it's going to be better in the end. You know, some people are never going to compare it to the original series. But to me, it depends on the story. It depends how it ends. So we haven't really watched the other part of this. But once we watch it, we will know for sure. It's coming in third. It's not I would say above the first season of Second Gig, but it's there, you know, and it's a worthy addition to the whole series. But what is your opinion? What do you think? Are you a fan of Standalone Complex? Have you watched this series? Have you watched this on through Netflix? Let me know in the comments below. So once again, my friends, thanks for watching. God bless, take care, and I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.